Hi everybody, I'm Greg. Welcome to Goodbye Gluten.
Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste.
So please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel.
Well, it's becoming springtime, and this is like one of my favorite dishes to prepare for like Easter and St. Patty's Day, and just it's a really good dish to make during any time of year, but this is the time I like to really get it going and stuff, and it is a corned beef brisket. So let's get to see what you're going to need to make this awesome brisket. Okay, so what you're going to need is a tub to hold the brine and stuff in if your brining bag does break. Hopefully it doesn't. I got my 6-pound brisket, right? It's ready to go. I did carve off most of the fat because I'm not going to need it for how I'm going to be making it. Okay, I got about 1.5 tablespoons of Prague powder or pink curing salt. This is Anthony's. It's really awesome. I love it a lot. It's made in the USA, and also it's gluten-free. All right. So now we got about a 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt. Okay, and this is Morton's kosher salt, which I really love. Okay, and now you're going to come over here. You're going to need a tablespoon of allspice berries, right? This is Azteca Products, really good brand. Okay, we're going to need about a tablespoon of mustard seeds, and this is McCormick's. We love their spices too. You're going to need ground ginger, and we're going to do about 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Okay, a tablespoon of red crushed pepper flake, right? Stuff you sprinkle on your pizzas, same thing. Okay, a tablespoon, 2 teaspoons of whole cloves, because they're kind of small, so. Okay, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, or like a small chunk of cinnamon stick, which is just fine. I prefer the ground cinnamon because it gets around a lot easier and better and mixes with the water and stuff like that you're going to need. Okay, sorry about that. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of black peppercorns, not just ground black pepper, but the peppercorns. Okay. You're going to need 9 cardamom pods. This is what they look like. Look like big grass seeds. Okay, and Almazaran is the brand. Okay, this is Crescent, and you're going to need a tablespoon of coriander seeds, not coriander ground. Okay, big difference. Okay, you're going to need about 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, and you're going to need a pot to cook it in, right? And a gallon of water. And then you're going to need yourself a brining bag. So this is my first time trying these from Liquid Solutions. Well, I didn't realize what size I was actually getting. So if you see, I kind of got a big one by accident. This thing could brine like a 25-pound turkey. So I don't think I'm going to have to worry about, it being able to hold up to my stuff. Okay, so for your pickling spices themselves is just what I just had here. Okay, not the curing. Okay, so these spices right here are what they call pickling spices. Okay, now you can use star anise, but very gingerly because it has like this black licorice flavor. So let's get this brine going, and I'll show you how to get your brine up. Oh, and you're going to want to have about 2 to 3 cups worth of ice cubes. Okay, so I'm getting the water to set to boil. It's 1 gallon. And since I'm only going to use about half of the actual pickling spices that I said, because I'm only going to need about 3 tablespoons, about 3.5 actually. So I'm actually going to add in my cardamom pods here. see, 3, 6, 7. And that's all I'm going to need. And we'll get the rest of it going. Okay, so I'm going to turn the fan on because it's going to get a little loud. So I got my pickling spices. I only used 3 tablespoons because of what measurements I said is for double the size of the brisket. So use only about half, and that's why I added the cardamom pods in there first. And trust me, do not add your brisket into this point yet. Okay, add in my salt. That's the kosher. Add in the pink Prague powder. And then I'm just going to kind of scoop this in little bits at a time. That way it doesn't make a mass clump and it's easier for it to dissolve. Okay. I'm going to stir this up. Oh my god, it smells so good in this. Oh, that smells so good. Now the thing is these spices really haven't even started releasing their aroma yet and flavors. So we're going to get this to basically a boil, and then I'm going to return it off and remove it from heat. This should take about 10 minutes. So once you got it up to a boil, go ahead and just, I'm just going to reduce this down to a simmer and let it simmer for about 5 more minutes. Okay, it's been about 6 minutes, so I'm going to turn off my stove. Go ahead, and I'm just going to start letting this cool. And this is where the ice cubes come in. Now I love these silicone molds because you get these really huge ice cubes. They hold their cool for a long time. Just gonna drop these, couple of these in because these are about 2 to 3 cups worth of water. Oh, that one's broken. All this is going to do is speed up the cooling process. Oops, excuse me, didn't mean to burp into the microphone. Yeah, I'm trying out a new set of microphones. They're lapel mics. If you think they're really neat, check out the link in the description below, and I'll have the link of where you can get them and who they are. And so far, they're really, really good. I like them a lot, and they even come with their own charging station. So we're going to let this cool for about 4 hours to let it get really nice and cool off, and then we'll go ahead and put it into the brisket. Okay, our brine is cold. I got a larger pot. This is my tamale pot. I'm using this just to transfer it easier. Actually, I might just use this to put it in there. Most likely not. I'll just probably leave it in this Tupperware or plastic container. Okay, go ahead. Brisket in there. Now, if you need help, go ahead and ask for help, you know. Swirl this around, get all those good, nice, flavorful bits. And yes, I'm actually keeping all the spices actually in there. Gotta. Okay, get this out of my way for the moment. Okay, good thing it's not leaking. Sure this thing seals all the way. Get as much air as this out of this possible. Kind of double, making sure this thing seals all the way. Okay. Whoops. Guess not. This is like a durable Ziploc. Okay, I think it is sealed. Whoops. I have to unseal it for a second again. Okay, now it's sealed. And into the refrigerator. I'm going to let this brine for about 7 days. But I'm going to pull it out every day and then kind of rotate the roast in there, or the brisket. Okay, it has been 8 days since I put this into brine. Right, looking good. So basically what I'm going to be doing is making a boiled corned beef and cabbage meal. It's kind of like a traditional St. Patty's Day, you know, Irish dish. I got myself some red potatoes. Got myself a cabbage. I'm only going to use probably about a half of it. You know, about a quarter of a cabbage for a normal sized adult. Okay. I got a pot to boil it in, and if you're going to have a large brisket, you're going to need a large pot because you need to completely submerge it. And we're going to rinse off the brine off of these things, and I'm not going to add any salt because it's already been salted. So I'm going to add about 2 bay leaves, a little black pepper, and some basil, and that's it. Okay, and this will take roughly about 3 hours to cook, maybe 3.5 depending on how large your roast is or your brisket is. So roughly, if it's a small one like this, it's going to be about 2.5 hours. Okay, a large one like I got is going to be 3. If you got a really large one, about 4. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take this thing. Oh, Jesus thing, this thing's heavy. Move that out of the way.
Oh gosh, it smells so good. Oh yeah. It's all nice and good, and pick up all these pieces. I'm going to go ahead and stick that in there for the time being. Now, if you want to reuse your oven bag, go ahead. You can just, you know, wash them out really good. I'm not going to worry about that too much. And we want to make sure that we're going to rinse off our brisket really, really well. Okay? Otherwise, it can get really salty. Okay. That's pretty good. Wash my hands. That's the one weird thing about watching cooking shows and stuff. It's like, most of them don't seem to like wash their hands when they're cooking with meat. It's just like, I don't know why. Okay, so if you notice, my brisket's about here, so I'm only going to fill it about halfway. Just get some. So, uno, dos. I like adding the spices when the water's filling up, because then it just kind of like mixes them in. Alrighty. So you can see how submerged it is. It's about like an inch over the top of it, or two. Let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. Okay, get your pot on there, put it on high. Get this to boil, and then you're going to let it go down to about a medium high, and then we're going to cook it for about 3 hours. Because this is about a 5-pound brisket. And then we'll deal with the cabbage and potatoes when this is almost done. Go ahead and cover it if you need to. I like the lids that have the little vent hole. Reduces the overboiling and stuff like that. Okay, you want to start your potatoes in cold water, and it'll only take about 20 to 25 minutes for them to fully boil and finish. So you want to set it to high for boiling temperature. Okay, the time's up, so we're going to check our potatoes. Little fork test goes in pretty easy. So those are done. Now we're going to grab the brisket and let that set off. Okay, we got our corned beef right here. Oh, that smells so good. Now we're going to let this, hot. We're going to let this sit for a few minutes. But I'm going to save some of this broth so I can cook up the cabbage in it. And you can see it's 205, 206. So that means it is definitely food safe. So I got the potatoes drained. Like I said, I'm going to do only about a quarter. And that's how easy it is with the corned beef or the cabbage. It's all sliced up and easy to ready to go. I'm just gonna separate those hearts. Okay, so now we got our butter. A little bit of salt. And kind of start giving these a mash. I'm not going to mash them up too much. That's basically it. That's fast. Now mix up a little bit of milk. I'm using Silk because my wife is dairy free. A little bit more salt to that. Just kind of stir it around a little bit. Oh, that's good. And that's done. Now we're going to go to cabbage. I'm going to put this on a medium-high heat to get the pan going. Okay, let me move this. Start grabbing my stuff. Okay. I'm going to grab about 2 to 3 ladles of the broth. Cracked fresh black pepper. Hefty pinch of salt, or 2. It should only take you just a few, not that long at all. You basically want to toss it. You can see how literally how fast it's starting to go down. Trying to make sure all those dense pieces are breaking down and separating. I've seen some recipes to where they would actually put the cabbage right in with the actual corned beef at the last like few seconds. Dash more pepper, and then slight more pinch of salt. And this is ready to plate. So I'm just going to take it and strain it with the strainer. Okay, we got our strainer. Get that out of the way. Now you can also add like the sliced up leeks and onions if you want. You know, even, you know, chop up some carrots. Give it a shake, because as you see, okay, look at that. I mean, it's not as pink because I didn't use as much curing salt. I should have. So if you want it nice and pinker, you know, just add a little bit, about another teaspoon of pure curing salt or Prague powder. Oh, look at that. So I could actually just cut that off because like this mount is the fat layer. But this part is nice and pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and plate this. Slice off the top part, which still has a good chunk of meat right there. Look at that. Oh yeah. But for tonight, we're just going to slice this baby up. Now this is lightly salted, so it doesn't have a lot of salt in the actual brine. And also I didn't put any in the boiling, so that way if people don't want salt, like heavy salt, or can't have heavy salt in their diet, this is a great way to do it. And then the people who want a little bit more salt, they can just sprinkle it on. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cabbage there. I prefer with leeks, but my wife doesn't like leeks, but that's quite fine. It's still awesome flavor and tasting. Oh, hot, hot, hot. Our little mashers. Oh yeah, look at that. Now I'm going to show you how soft this is. It just, you don't even need a knife. Look at that. Oh, that is really, 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 really good. Like I said, it's lightly salt. It doesn't have a whole lot of salt in there, so people who are watching their salt content, this is a great recipe for you to do. Those potatoes are amazing. Now for the cabbage. Perfectly done. Lightly salted, lightly peppered, perfectly balanced with that broth. So I hope you all learned something about, you know, making corned beef and cabbage, and I hope you guys will send us comments later on it. And, you know, So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And remember what we always say here on Goodbye Gluten. Saying goodbye to gluten does not mean saying goodbye to great food and great taste. You have a great evening.